first is classification. That's the first stage. All cultures have categories to distinguish people into us and them, by ethnicity, race, religion or nationality. German, Jew, Hutu, Tutsi, Afrikaner, Zulu, Xhosa, etc. You agree? This organisation says South Africa has already reached this stage, number one. Let's look at number two. It's symbolisation. We give names or other symbols to the classifications. We distinguish people by colours or dress and apply the symbols to members of groups. They say we have reached that stage as well.
Where are they saying that?
Number two. I'll come to that. I'll come to that. It's further on in this document. Number three. Stage three is dehumanization. One group denies the humanity of the other group. Apartheid people are not people who support the old apartheid, who support colonialism. They shouldn't be listened to. They don't belong in our democracy. They don't belong in South Africa.
Nobody said that.
Yeah, members of it are equated with animals, vermin, insects or diseases. That's the third stage. Now what did you do when you called Mrs. Zill a cockroach? Why did you call her a cockroach?
What did Miss Zill call me first?
Well, you called her a cockroach.
But she called me something first.
Well, you know the calling of cockroaches was one of the big...
We're going to complain if I said she's a lion.
Can I finish, please? It was one of the most important issues that preceded the Rwanda genocide. People calling each other cockroaches. Do you know that?
If I had called her a lion, for sure you're not going to complain.
I will, because she's not an animal, sir.
It's not true.
You say she is an animal.
If I said Zile is a lion, everybody was going to celebrate her. Yeah, they can see she's powerful.
But you didn't say that. You didn't say that. You called her a cockroach. You were meant to say something demeaning about her.
Human beings have got a tendency of likening each other to animals.
Yes. And then you see number 4 says genocide is always organized, usually by the state, often using militias to provide deniability of state responsibility, like the Janjaweed in Darfur. Sometimes organization is informal, like the Hindu mobs led by RSS militants, or decentralized. Special army units or militias are often trained and armed. Plans are made for genocidal killings. The UN should impose arms embargoes on governments and citizens of countries involved in genocidal massacres and create commissions to investigate violations. That's phase 4. Now we know that the UN is sending a delegation to South Africa to investigate Boer genocide. Don't we?
I don't know that.
4 murders, sir. That is seen by the Afrikaner community as Boer genocide.
No, I don't know that. And I will be very happy if they can come, send delegation to investigate farm killing, not farmers killing, farm killing, and see how many farm workers are being killed there. Why are there so many farm murders in South Africa? A person on a farm has 700% more time to be murdered than anybody else. Why? I don't know. I'll put it to you. You ask a Minister of Safety to analyze the dockets for you of what has been the real reason behind the farm killing. I'll tell you what. It's to intimidate farmers to give up their land without compensation. That's what is behind farm murders. I put that to you and I will argue that. And when you kill a farm worker, you intimidating the farm worker to take over the farm of a farm worker. No. The farm workers are being killed as well. They are the people normally who are loyal to the colonialist farm worker. They are the farm workers who are killed, sir. And who's killing them? I'm asking you. Yes, they are killed. Their majority, they are killed by their farmers. There are international people out there, and that's what I'm showing to you, who think South Africa
the Boer nation is undergoing a genocide.
Will extend their mandate when they arrive here. Please investigate also the killing of farm workers who are killed by their bosses because they refuse to pay them.
Right, and then the last point. Sorry, just bear with me for a moment. The fifth point is, fifth stage is polarization. Extremists, well, that would now be you, sir. Drive the groups apart. Hate groups broadcast polarizing propaganda. That would now be the ANC Youth League. Laws may forbid intermarriage. Extremist terrorism targets moderates, intimidating and silencing the centre. Put that to you. That's what the ANC is doing. They're silencing anybody who doesn't support the revolution.
I don't agree with you.
Alright, well these people disagree with you, sir, because what they do then on page 254, they analyse genocides and mass murders since 1945 on page 254, and then they give a list of, according to them, countries at risk of genocide, politicide or mass atrocities in 2010. That's on page 255. And you'll see on that page countries are listed that reach the number 5 polarization stage of genocide. Included in there is Iraq, and then not surprisingly, sir, we see your hero country, Zimbabwe. See that? And then we go on, we see Uzbekistan, we see Egypt, we see Cote d'Ivoire. This was done in 2010, and we know what happened in those countries recently. And then we carry on and we turn over the page to 256. We see Israel and Palestine, and then what do we see? We see South Africa. And we see those who are targeted are Boers and refugees. And I think perhaps what they mean by refugees would be people from other countries who are being targeted in this country.
By who?
I'm looking for the word, my lord.
Xenophobia.
Xenophobia. And then you will see it's done by black racists, according to them. Do you have comment on this?
No, I'm not going to comment about those things.
All right, but the context against which this case must be dealt with must also be seen from an international point of view and an international context. I'll put that.
Yes?
Yes. Lord, if you could bear with me. Now, Mr. Malema, you are an important man, isn't it?
Oh, no.
Not. Being the youth member of the ANC Youth League, the president of the ANC Youth League, that doesn't make you an important man. Is that
No.
what you say? Oh, all right. But still, you want to be radical.
Come again?
You want to be radical.
I lead a radical organization.
You are radical.
Yes.
You are revolutionary.
Yes.
You want to achieve something.
Yes.
You want to achieve as much as possible for the revolution.
Economic freedom in my lifetime.
Yes. You want the Freedom Charter to be applied with.
Yes.
Want the Freedom Charter to be applied. And you want to be remembered one day as a great leader. Isn't that so?
No.
Not.
No, I'm not in a struggle for self-importance.
All right.
I'm here to play a role and live.
And you walk on the forefront of the revolution.
Not in the forefront.
Yeah, it's the Youth League who's placing all the debates on the table. It doesn't come from the ANC, it's the Youth League.
It has always been like that.
Yeah.
You must read the history of the ANC.
Yeah.
It's always been like that, my
And
lord.
it's expected of you to do.
The first generation of the Youth League in 1944
changed the ANC to be a radical organization. The ANC was a very peaceful, gentleman type of an organization, relying on deputation, delegation to the Queen. And then in 1944 we said we must fight. And that's when we introduced the radical program of action adopted by the ANC in 1949, which included armed struggle.
I understand these things, sir. I've been through the struggle in my life.
No, I'm talking about the history of the ANC.
I understand the
You have never been part of the ANC. You don't know
I'm
the
not part of the ANC.
Yes.
Well, let me put it to you this way. I'm part of an organization that is part of a constitutional democratic South Africa that believes in the Constitution and that believes in particular Section 25 of the Constitution that does not allow for taking farms and land without compensation.
Who are the champions of that constitution? We are the champions of that constitution.
You don't like it?
That constitution you have is our
It is the champion of it.
We are the champions.
Are you the champion?
Yes.
Yes, but still...
We made it possible for you to sit with blacks in this bench.
Yeah.
We freed you.
Yeah. And that's why my clients can bring this case to court, because your government, the ANC government, has written the legislation which made provision for this court.
And we sit here as equals without looking down at each other.
But why should this court then resolve the issue? Why do you testify and all the other witnesses of the ANC testify that it was wrong for my clients and not before them to bring this case to court?
Look, you have a right to bring it here. In our opinion, it doesn't belong here.
Yeah.
But because you exercised your right of bringing here, that's why we're here. We thought we should choose a different field, my lord, because courts are preoccupied with important issues. And we thought this issue, important as it is, it belongs to a societal engagement, not to court.
Let us get to the point, sir. You are at the forefront of raising debates and issues and policy issues within the whole big ANC government organization.
It's not me, it's the ANC Youth League.
If I say you, I'm not talking about you first, I'm talking about the Youth League.
Please. In relation to policy.
And please understand, our case has got nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Our case has got to do with the singing of the use of the words as being hate speech.
Right.
We do not target you. We have no issue with you. It could have been anybody else who sat there. What we have an issue is that you are the person who uses these words more often than anybody else.
I like it because your case is different from the person you joined in this proceeding.
No, the approach is different. But we'll argue about these things. We'll argue about this. Now, why don't the ANC, the more senior people, the older people, the more experienced people, why don't they bring up these policy issues?
What?
Why don't they bring up these policy issues? Why doesn't Mr. Montashi come and make a media statement and say the NEC of the ANC has decided that land must be taken, or will consider land to be taken without compensation?
We make different suggestions, my lord. Mr. Montashi is on record saying we must nationalize the Reserve Bank.
All right. I'll put it to you, Mr. Malema. You're being used by the ANC.
I'm very
because
happy.
You are prepared.
I'm very happy to be used by the ANC.
Let me finish. You are prepared to put issues on the table that they are too scared to do.
I'm very happy. That is my role. I'm a chosen one.
And I put it to you that is how you are perceived out there amongst all the people.
Oh, it's not a statement of fact. I thought we were putting it as a statement of fact.
I put it as a statement of fact, and I'm putting it to you that people out there understand that statement of fact to be true.
It is not true. If the ANC was using me, I was not going to have a problem, because I'm always willing to be used by the ANC. I'm a foot soldier of the African National Congress, and I don't apologize about that. I get my mandate from the African National Congress.
Yes.
In this case, on the land issue, as the debate continues, you'll be very happy to hear what is going to be the response of the ANC, because already the old ones are saying, maybe different approach. But we are very fair. And how would these people who are using us, my Lord, every time we come with a proposal, they say, hey, no, maybe try something else, not this one. On nationalization, we had a heated debate in the National General Council of the ANC, where the Youth League said, we need these minerals must benefit our people, and the ANC said, no, we hear you, perhaps let's conduct a study and see if we can find the best model of nationalization. Why would people who are using us take such initiatives and even delay us from taking these actions?
But how much people out there think of you? Must they think of you, of this young revolutionary walking this road towards the National Democratic Revolution in front of the old people? Is that what they must think?
You know, President Mandela was perceived to be somebody who's used by the elders. Because if you read, you have been quoting President Mandela, many of you, and I realize some of you don't know him. If you read the stories of the young President Mandela at the time, who used to disrupt meetings of the Communist Party, and people were saying he was sent by other people, President Mandela became to be the greatest leader and the world icon today. You can't say that those who said President Mandela was used then, for sure they swallow their words today.
You don't ask me.
Because they realized President Mandela stood for what he believed in. Sir, I'm not used by anybody.
Well, sir, please answer the questions. Don't make political statements as a court. I'm asking you, I'm putting it to you. You are walking in front of the rest of the people. You are bringing about new revolutionary ideas to further the National Democratic Revolution, and people out there see you like that. That's my question, sir.
That's wrong.
Is that yes or no?
No.
Are they wrong?
The organization is the one that is leading the discussions, not Julius. If you see me like that, you are wrong. I can go tomorrow.
Organization.
Come
I
again?
said to you, if I say you, I speak of the ANC Youth League.
Oh yes, the Youth League has been a very important body of opinion in the ANC since its formation. And there's never been a political lull moment in the Youth League. It has always been coming with ideas, including the arms struggle.
And the Youth League's voice and ideas, etc., are being told to people through you. Mostly because you're the president, isn't that so?
I speak on behalf of the Youth League.
Yes. Now, and sir, then, do you always go everywhere with these bodyguards with M14 machine guns? You always do that?
My Lord, I'm not going to respond on the security issue.
I'm putting it to you that you are creating a perception of a man who is prepared to use violence easily.
You know, my Lord, there are people who come here with bodyguards and they leave them outside with fake police identity cards. And they stand here and want to speak like they are not being protected themselves. I've been listening to people.
You're talking about me. You're talking about me, so let's talk frank.
Yeah.
One bodyguard. One bodyguard who has not been identified.
Fake police card here, my Lord.
Sorry, sir.
And they meet every day outside here as a group, with a group of thugs who are intimidating us outside. We have never brought that to attention. And we should come to you here and reveal our security so that we can compromise ourselves in front of people who are looked after by people who go around with fake police cards.
Well, I don't think we need to get embroiled in this debate.
May I just put this?
Well, we don't need to get embroiled in it.
But my Lord, it is important.
I've actually controlled the security quietly through the Deputy Director General.
I understand that.
And
but what he's saying
the security,
is untrue.
well, we needn't deal with it. I'd hope that the identity of council with the ambitions of its client, which should be kept separate, and trying to divorce you from your client
as it pleases you, Lord,
and keep you as a council.
Well, my Lord, the bodyguard was not for me; it was for my clients.
Well, that's a different issue. You know my ruling on bodyguards.
And he wasn't in the
and
force
I've
ever.
maintained it that way. And there are policemen who are not known to the general public who are also in the vicinity.
I know that.
And they are identifiable, and the Director General comes periodically, and the court security come here. All these issues are different issues.
I know that.
You can perhaps put that the impression that is created when people come to court surrounded by people bearing arms is something.
Yes.
I don't know. I think that's what you wanted to put.
Well,
and then you became embroiled in a whole heated debate about something that doesn't matter.
No, my lord, but there is one important aspect. There is one important aspect of this. And that is that there is no equal access to this court for my clients as opposed to Mr. Malema's.
Well, I'm not sure that that position, if it endures, comes about notwithstanding my intervention.
Well, I haven't recorded all the true facts pertaining to our security, and you know that, and I know that.
Well, I've never had any private discussions with you concerning your security.
No, it was...
Except on one occasion prior to the commencement of this trial, which had nothing to do with the current position.
No, correct.
And that discussion took place in front of all the counsel who were involved.
I won't take this further, my lord. But
well, we don't need to become embroiled in a side issue. The point of this, Mr. Malema, is a different point here. It's been put to you that the perception, if you come to court with an army, if I can put it like that, is that you are a person who is surrounded by an army.
My lord, I've always refused to answer that question because of the reasons I've advanced.
No, but the public army we know about, we've seen it.
Yes, they keep on asking me about the security.
No, we're not asking you. You're not being asked about that. What you're being asked is this. If you are surrounded by people visibly bearing arms, you are associated as, in the minds of people, as being a person who associates himself with arms. That's all. That's the question.
I don't know where that idea comes from.
So
because I've seen people who are protected by people with arms, and I've never perceived them as people who associate themselves with arms, or they like arms or violence.
Well, there's your answer.
thank you. I'll just put it to you that when people see you arrive with 10 bodyguards with 14 machine guns at court, they think of you as a violent man. That's what I'm going to argue.
And his answer is they're not right-minded people. That's the reply.
But I mustn't be scared.
There's no reason to be scared.
No reason to be scared.
No.